Of Christmas, I'm going to give you ladies some advice. Let that man drown. Let that man drown. Do not save these men. And I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't. The first reason is that man would not do it for you. Like they say, bros over hoes. Let that man drown. Number two, the system was built by men for men. So how is it that you have the cheat code and you can't win? How is it that you have the key and can't walk through the door? Let that man drown. Number three, men only learn through pain and consequences. And you trying to save this man will not absolve him of those pain and consequences. He's going to learn it whether you're there or not. Let that man drown. Number four, something in his life is out of alignment. And we as ladies do not deal with men who do not understand partnership, who cannot bring value, or are unequally yoked compared to our lifestyle. Let that man drown. Next thing, when you start saving men, you're no longer a princess. You become a fixer, and fixers get dirty. Let that man drown. If that man is asking you for money, it tells you about his relationships. Why he ain't ask his mama? Why he ain't ask his sister? Why he ain't ask his homeboys? Let that man drown. Another thing, if this man cannot bring any value to your life, it already tells you that his priorities are out of line. Like, if you are struggling financially, this man has no business dating you. And therefore, we know that he wants something for free because he has nothing to exchange. Let that man drown. Another thing, if a man starts asking you for things, he don't really like you. Because men who like women have a certain amount of pride when it comes to dating the women that he likes. And then on top of it, he does not want to appear less than. So ladies, stop saving these men and let that man drown. And the
There's a lot that we're gonna have to like piecemeal and go through it. But essentially, listen, when you get on here, you meet certain types of women, right? And let this be like a rubric, let this be like a test. When you see women like this, and unless this is your cup of speed, right? And I had to learn a couple of things myself in the last couple of weeks about maybe just because this isn't my cup of tea, many men may be actually attracted to this. But when they're giving you this sort of game, because this is what it is, they're telling you their playbook, they're telling you how they feel, they're telling you what they want to do, walk away, right? Don't even engage. If you're not, if whomever you're trying to build something with or have a relationship with, and she threw the word partnership in that, but someone that's willing to let you drown when you're at your lowest, so when you're going through stuff, doesn't really deserve to be there when things are going well for you. So before we continue, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss no uploads. Still going strong, still doing two a day. And there's a lot to break down on this one. And we're just going to have to go, let her replay it. And, we'll go back and forth and see what we can find.
spirit of Christmas, I'm going to give you ladies some advice. Let that man drown. Let that man drown. Do not save these men. And I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't. The first reason is that man would not do it for you.
So right off the bat, when you have a uh, mindset that's really just negative, you catastrophize everything, every possibility that could happen. I know we have I said it before in the channel, we have like a negative bias towards life. When things go wrong, it stays with us and we never really deal with it to get rid of that. When we say how women are more emotionally, have a higher EQ than men, are in therapy, are doing the work, I don't think this is really revealed, right? I don't think this is as much as a blanket statement as we once believed it to be. All this is saying is when you have had these things happen to you, and we're not trying to discount your experience. All we're saying is that because it happened in the past, that does not mean it's going to happen again with a different man. Sure, past examples or past history can be a great indicator for that same person, for the very same person that gave you those indications, that gave you that experience. That person, if they let you down, if you took care of them when they were down and then when they were up, they left you, that's a great example of what that one man did to you. Has nothing to do with the next man or the next man or the next man. That's not how odds work. That's not how math works, right? But that's how your experience and unhealed trauma speaks through you. If it's, and you see the same thing with men, right? That one chick that did something to him that turned him off to women, period. Now he's a dog. Now he's a snake, right? That happens. It's a negative bias that we all have just as humans. Something bad's happened one time in the past. Now I need to protect myself. You have a very defensive posture. You're trying to protect yourself from harm going forward. And all that does is make you, let's be honest, insufferable to many more people. If you're always on that guard, waiting for that shoe to drop, and you anticipate, you make moves thinking that shoe is in the middle of dropping, it's hard to love you. It's hard to be anything to you. Yet, outside of that character you just already painted me as, if these are what the men are in your life, these are what you're expecting, you're probably just going to find that very thing. Not that the man has done anything, but every type of motion and nuance is interpreted through those negative lens. You can't help but to be but to be correct when you move like that.
Like they say, bros over hoes. Let that man drown.
All right, real quick, bros over hoes. If you're a hoe, then sure, then yeah, your bro should come first. But if your wife, your girlfriend, that's not how men really move. It's it's in the saying. It's literally in the saying.
Number two, the system was built by men for men. So, how is it that you have the cheat code and you can't win? How is it that you have the key and can't walk through the door?
This is a facetious argument, borderline on just simply being ignorant. The system was not made for all men, wasn't it? Still isn't. It's made for rich, land owning men. Right? That's what the system is made for. Just because you are a man does not mean that you were given the keys to the kingdom and you know more than anyone else in terms of success. I think anyone with even a modicum of objective reason can see that. If the system was made for men and for men to succeed and only them to succeed, then why do we have success in any other race, any other gender? No, that's not, that's just not, true at all. Do you think it means it's easier for men to do things, to do well? Sure, but we all have this, we have this weird thing where we want to highlight the trappings and the things that makes life harder for black women, and including those things, say like slavery, say systematic oppression. But we also forget that people that look like you and share your skin color also victim of that. But no, because they're men, they have a smoother sort of way to the top. Now, in terms of just if you're looking at average success, the only income differential, is $5,000 on average, but the debt is different. So it's not a thing that men haven't have the cheat code. Like all men have the cheat code. I think again, a half objective look at reason would show like that's not what's happening here at all.
Let that man drown. Number three, men only learn through pain and consequences. And you trying to save this man will not absolve him of those pain and consequences. He's going to learn it whether you're there or not. Let that man drown.
I think men tend to learn the hard way. I'll be honest. We tend to learn the hard way, and that may be a thing of pride. That may be a thing of ego. But sometimes it takes us going through stuff to learn it. And should someone be there to absolve you of those things? No, no. But they should be there to probably lighten the blow when it does happen to help you get back on your feet. Because when men learn the hard way, there's a period when you're on your back, and that period can be short, it could be long, and that the duration of the period sometimes depends on your support system around you. A good support system is going to see you back on your feet quicker. But again, and that point I don't totally disagree. We tend to learn the hard way.
Number four, something in his life is out of alignment. And we as ladies do not deal with men who do not understand partnership, who cannot bring value, or are unequally yoked compared to our lifestyle.
So there's lifestyle, right? There's lifestyle, and then there's reality. Your lifestyle is maybe what you desire it to be, but not actually what you financially can undertake by yourself. And we know this just because of the numbers, right? You're on average, you're making less than your black counterparts or your male counterparts. So saying that you have a lifestyle, okay, if you have a lifestyle that's not funded via debt, then odds are that person fits it, right? That they can do the same things you can do. If you're looking for someone that fits your lifestyle, you're going to have to unequivocally decide and define what that lifestyle is before making the assumption that he just doesn't fit it. I think we need to be careful when we're sort of teasing these relationships out, these differences out, and make it seem as if an aspirational lifestyle is actually your lifestyle. No, but if you can only truly afford to pay your bills and save a little bit of money and you're living paycheck to paycheck, which 25% of Americans are, I believe, then that's pretty much your lifestyle. Aspirationally, where you see yourself, that's a different thing. But we tend to see that often women are looking at their potential and where they can be versus in reality where you are today when we're trying to decide where we are financially or where we're trying to when we try to throw around the moniker of broke.
Let that man drown. Next thing, when you start saving men, you're no longer a princess. You become a fixer, and fixers get dirty. Let that man drown.
You were never a princess, right? You it's a nice fantasy thing to throw around, but you were never a princess, right? Princesses have or a princess is really a princess because of who her father is, who her mom is, but really who her father is. Your father didn't give you a kingdom or wait for a prince to come and marry you. You're not a princess. You're an adult, right? You're an adult work. You're a working adult in probably Western United, Western Hemisphere. You've got bills, you've got responsibilities. You don't have people that are there to take care of that, who simply want to make sure that you know the rules of etiquette, of decorum, and you are weighted hand and foot. In that regard, you're not a princess. We didn't come from royalty, especially if you're, Ados, black. You didn't come from royalty. You can barely trace back lineage here 400, 500 years. It's not royalty. When we say that you are desiring the princess treatment, we get what you mean. We understand what you mean, but princess treatment is something that is afforded upon a woman, a girl, a young girl, right? Not something that you decide for yourself. If you can be princesses, then all these men call themselves kings can be kings. But we rally and we rail against that continuously. So let's start to bury that and say you may be desirous of better treatment, of luxurious treatment, but princess, no.
If that man is asking you for money,
And I gotta go back to the princess thing real quick. The royalty thing. There is a relationship between royalty and subjects, right? There is why historically royalty collects levies taxes upon their subjects, and in turn, royalty has, they owe a duty to a responsibility to their subjects. They take care of them. You govern them. You also defend them. You also lead them into battle. This is not the relationship we're talking about. We want all the trappings of royalty without the responsibility. If you want to be called a princess, okay, we won't see if we can dissuade you from that. But if that's what it is, you also owe fealty to the people.
it tells you about his relationships. Why he ain't ask his mama? Why he ain't ask his sister? Why he ain't ask his homeboys? Let that man drown. Another thing, if this man cannot bring any value to your life, it already tells you that his priorities are out of line.
Listen, let's just, we'll leave it at that. If someone can't bring value to your life and that's how you want to evaluate relationships, then yeah, men, I think this is great advice. And you have to also start looking at women and say, what value do you bring to my life? And since sex is one of those things that's looked at by women as like it's a gift, it's giving to you, men, we should probably start looking the same way. I'm also giving this thing to you. So let's cancel that out. What do I get from you outside of sex? With women that have this sort of personality and this attitude, this outlook? What do you get from them? And if you can't find a good reason or a reason that makes sense to have them around your life, then, like I said in the beginning of the video, maybe it's time you just pull back and leave them where they are. It's no need to argue, no need to shout down, no need to try to convince someone that their worldview is wrong or right. Let time and their own experiences tell the tale. That's it. I think that's the best way we can do some of these things. We can just disengage with love. And if some days it's easy to do and easier to do, and some days it's harder to do. Today for me is one of those days it's harder to do. But nonetheless, we wish people like this well. Listen, if you disagree, let me know down in the comments. If you see videos on your screen right now, take a look at those. Let me know what you think about those in those videos. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, come on, we're having fun over here. I'll see you in the next one.